I always believed that if you were talented and worked hard enough, success would earn you recognition from the people you loved most. But I was wrong. Success doesn't just bring admiration, sometimes it breeds jealousy and even betrayal. I spent over a decade transforming my family's small repair shop into a leading software company, only to realize that my own family was the first to try and take everything I had built. It all started with a small computer repair shop on the corner of a quiet street in Denver, Colorado. That shop was my father's pride and joy. Mark Adams had dedicated nearly 30 years to keeping it afloat. As a child, I would sit behind the counter, watching my dad tinker with old computers, his hands covered in grease and electronic components. "One day, this shop will be yours," he would say to me, but I never thought of it as a promise. It was just something small business owners told their kids, hoping they would carry on the legacy. I had an older sister, Olivia. She was the golden child, brilliant, beautiful, academically gifted. When Olivia earned a full scholarship to a prestigious business school on the East Coast, my family threw a celebration. And me? I stayed local, attending a state university to study computer science, spending most of my free time helping my dad repair machines. "You're wasting your potential," Olivia would say whenever she came home. "If you studied business like me, you could do something bigger." But I saw potential in this small shop, something Olivia never did. While working with my dad, I noticed that most of our customers didn't just need repairs, they needed guidance on managing their data, tracking orders, and securing their information. An idea sparked in my mind. Why not create a simple software to help them do just that? I started coding late at night after we closed the shop. The result was an inventory management software designed for small businesses, allowing them to track orders, manage products, and generate revenue reports with ease. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was user-friendly and far more affordable than the complex software available at the time. When I showed it to my dad, he merely shrugged. "Sounds interesting, but who's going to buy it?" I decided to find out. I gave a few of our regular customers a free trial. At first, they were just curious, but soon the feedback came pouring in. Enthusiastic, encouraging. They told me it saved them time, reduced errors, and made their work more efficient. Some were even willing to pay for a full version. When my dad saw that customers were actually willing to buy this product, something changed in his eyes. "Maybe you're really onto something," he said, for the first time ever showing pride in my work. I used my small savings to register a copyright for the software and expand its features. Gradually, our shop wasn't just about fixing computers anymore, we were selling software. Before long, we expanded into tech consulting. Our first clients were small business owners, but soon, larger companies began to take notice. In just 5 years, my father's tiny repair shop had transformed into a full-fledged software company, serving hundreds of clients across the country. I thought that I had finally earned my family's recognition, but I didn't realize that my success had wounded Olivia's pride, and when the company reached new heights, she came back not to congratulate me but to take everything for herself. I once believed that nothing could shake my position in the company. I was the one who built it from the ground up, who worked tirelessly, sacrificing sleep and personal time to turn a small computer repair shop into a thriving software enterprise. But I was wrong. When money and recognition appeared, so did greed. Olivia returned after nearly a decade on the East Coast, where she had worked for a major financial consulting firm. I had no intention of shutting her out. I was even excited about the idea of working alongside her. But from the very first day, I sensed that something wasn't right. She walked into the office with an air of overconfidence, as if the company belonged to her, not the one I had spent years building. "This company has a lot of potential, but it needs a more professional direction," Olivia said at our first family meeting after her return. "You've done well with your expertise, but it's time for a real long-term strategy." My father immediately agreed. He had always seen Olivia as the golden child, the one who deserved the best. So I wasn't surprised when, just a few days later, she was appointed as co-CEO, standing equal to me in the company I had built. "You two will manage it together. Each of you has your own strengths," my father said, as if it was a fair decision. But I knew the truth was far from that. The following months felt like an unspoken battle. I remained focused on our products and technology, but Olivia gradually took control of every major decision. She held meetings without me, changed strategies without my input, and manipulated the relationships I had built with our clients. When I confronted her, she simply gave a dismissive smile. "You're great with the technical side," she said. "Let me handle everything else," as if I were nothing more than a software engineer in my own company. I realized then, Olivia hadn't come back to collaborate. She had come to take over. Under her leadership, the company's image began to shift. More and more interviews and articles painted Olivia as a brilliant businesswoman, the visionary behind the company's success. I never sought public recognition, but watching someone else take credit for my work was infuriating. "This is an inspiring story," Olivia said in an interview with a major business magazine. "Two sisters co-leading a tech company, but I believe true success comes from strong leadership and strategic vision." She never once mentioned me, not in that article, nor in any others. I could feel myself being pushed out little by little from the company I had built. But the final blow came on my father's 65th birthday. The party was held in grand fashion at a luxurious hotel. I didn't think much of it, assuming it was just a family gathering, but I was wrong. After dinner, Olivia stood up and raised her glass. "Today is not only a special day for Dad," she said with a knowing smile, "but also a significant day for our company." I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach. "As you all know, our company has been growing rapidly," Olivia continued. "But in order to take it even further, we need a bold change. After discussions with the board and to ensure a strong direction for the future, we have decided that, starting today, I will be the sole CEO of the company." The entire ballroom fell silent. I heard the clinking of glasses against plates, the murmurs rippling through the crowd. I turned to my father, hoping he would object. But he simply sat there, nodding slightly, as if he had already known this was coming. "Sarah has done a great job over the years," Olivia continued, her gaze now locked onto mine. "But we believe the company needs a leader with a more strategic vision. You're an excellent technical mind, Sarah, but running a major company is about more than just technology. That's why you will be transitioning to a senior advisory role." It felt like a punch to the gut. A senior advisor? I had built this company from nothing, and now I was being sidelined into a meaningless position? I looked around, searching for any sign of support from my family, but my father still wore that same satisfied smile. My mother said nothing, staring down at the table with sorrow in her eyes. I knew that if I reacted now, they would paint me as bitter, as someone unwilling to accept reality. So instead, I simply stood up, placed a small gift box in front of my father, and said, "Happy birthday, Dad." My voice was steadier than I expected. Then, without another word, I turned and walked out of the lavish ballroom, leaving behind the whispers, the judgmental stares, and the pitying looks. But Olivia had made a grave mistake. She thought I would accept this quietly, that I would walk away in defeat. What she didn't realize was that I had been preparing for this moment for a long time, and when the sun rose the next morning, they would all learn exactly who truly held the power. I left my father's birthday party with a clear mind, but every step I took was deliberate. I wasn't angry, I wasn't heartbroken. I felt calm. A dangerous kind of calm. Olivia thought she had won, that I would simply disappear from the company I had built, but she had no idea what was coming. And if Olivia wanted a war, I was about to show her what a real war looked like. When I got home, I sat in front of my computer, the same desk where I had written the first lines of code that built this company into what it was today. I opened my email, drafted a message, and sent it out at exactly 3 a.m. To all customers, partners, and employees of Adams Tech. I regret to inform you of a leadership change at the company. As of today, I no longer hold an executive role at Adams Tech. However, I want to clarify a few important matters. The core software that has generated 80% of the company's revenue over the years is owned by Innovate Solutions LLC, a separate company I founded years ago. The licensing agreement for Adams Tech's use of this software has expired and will not be renewed. The contracts of most of the company's key technical staff are with Innovate Solutions, not Adams Tech. They will no longer be working here following my departure. For clients who have contracts tied directly to me, please note that your agreements include a clause allowing termination in the event of a significant leadership change. If you wish to continue using the software and services you have trusted for so long, I'm pleased to inform you that Innovate Solutions will continue providing the best solutions for your business. I hit send and leaned back in my chair. The next morning, I arrived at the office earlier than usual. I wasn't surprised to see Olivia and my father already waiting, both wearing expressions of fury. "What is this?" Olivia nearly shouted, waving her phone in the air. "Why are all our clients calling to cancel their contracts?" My father stood beside her, his face pale. "Sarah, what the hell are you doing? Are you trying to destroy this company?" I walked calmly into the conference room, pulled out a chair and sat down. "I simply informed our clients about the leadership change. I think they have the right to know who they are doing business with." Olivia clenched her teeth. "You did this on purpose to sabotage me. But you can't do this. This company isn't yours." I let out a soft laugh. "Actually, it is." I picked up my tablet, turned on the screen, and displayed a document on the conference room's main screen. "Let's take a look at the company's ownership structure. When Dad founded Adams Tech, he held 50% of the shares. Later, we each received 25%. But 3 years ago, when the company needed capital for expansion, Dad sold me 6% of his shares. That means—" I turned to Olivia and smiled. "I own 51% of the company's shares, which means I have controlling power over Adams Tech." The room fell into dead silence. My father opened his mouth but couldn't find the words to speak. Olivia's hands clenched tightly into fists, her eyes flashing with panic. "No, no way! Dad would never do that!" "It's unfortunate that you didn't read the contract carefully," I said, flipping to the next page, where his signature was clearly displayed. "But you signed it, and that means I have the authority to decide who runs this company." My father sank into his chair, his head lowered as if he had just lost something irreplaceable. Olivia, however, still refused to accept the truth. "You can't do this," she snapped. "This company needs me. I built its reputation. I brought in investors. I am the face of this company." "I won't deny that you brought attention to the company," I said, standing up, my voice calm and steady. "But I don't need a fabricated image. I need a real leader, someone who truly understands this company and knows how to grow it. And that person is not you." I looked her straight in the eye. "You have 2 choices. 1, you resign immediately. You can keep your shares, but you will have no control. I will ensure you receive a fair severance package and a glowing letter of recommendation. Or 2, I leaned back in my chair, folding my arms. "You can cling to your CEO title, but this company will lose its clients, employees, and products. It will become an empty shell and collapse within months." Olivia stared at me, fury flashing in her eyes, but behind it I saw something else. Realization. She had lost. My father let out a long sigh, his voice hoarse. "Sarah, do you really want things to end this way?" I looked at him, feeling a cold numbness settle in my chest. "I don't want it to end this way," I said, my voice firm. "But you and Olivia pushed me here. If I don't protect what I built, I'll lose everything. And I won't let that happen." An hour later, Olivia's resignation was signed. My father announced his retirement. I officially became the sole CEO of Adams Tech. I stood in my new office, looking out over the vast city skyline. The battle was over, but I knew the consequences would last a lifetime. My family might never be the same again. But I was no longer the girl sitting in the back of a tiny repair shop. I had fought for what was mine. And I had won. Everything came to a close on a crisp autumn afternoon, when Olivia walked out of the company, her expression blank. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't look back. I stood by my office window, watching as her figure grew smaller and smaller, until she disappeared completely. My father left soon after. He didn't speak to me during his final week at the company. When he left, he only left behind a single note on my desk. "I hope you know what you're doing." A short sentence, no apology, no acknowledgement of what I had done for this company. But I no longer expected it. I had stopped hoping for my father's approval a long time ago. In the days that followed, I threw myself into work without looking back. Under my leadership, Adams Tech grew stronger than ever. I restructured the entire company, hired top talent, improved our products, and expanded into the European market. Within just 2 years, our revenue tripled, making us one of the fastest-growing enterprise software companies in the United States. Olivia didn't take long to find a new job. She joined a tech startup in San Francisco, this time in a much lower position, no longer a CEO, no longer the one praised in the media. I heard she had changed, no longer seeking the spotlight. Maybe this downfall had taught her a lesson. But whatever the case, I didn't care anymore. After retiring, my father moved to the suburbs with my mother. He barely kept in touch with me, but I would occasionally see his name in the media, referred to as the honorary founder of Adams Tech. He no longer had power, no longer had a say in the company, but he was still respected as a historical figure. And I let him keep that dignity. One day I received an email from Olivia's former university, the prestigious business school where she had studied. They invited me to speak at their graduation ceremony on the topic, the power of the underestimated. I stared at the email for a long time without responding. A part of me wanted to decline. I had no desire to return to a place that had once been seen as Olivia's ultimate stepping stone to success. But another part of me urged me to accept. Months later, I stood on the grand stage of that elite university, looking down at hundreds of students seated below. I wasn't a professional speaker, but as I began telling my story, about being underestimated, about being pushed out of my own company, and about how I fought to take everything back, the entire auditorium fell silent, listening intently. I ended my speech with a lesson I had learned through it all. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying others, it's succeeding so much that they have no choice but to recognize their mistakes. Applause erupted throughout the hall. I smiled not because I needed their recognition, but because I knew I had overcome everything. That night when I returned home, I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a small, dust-covered box. Inside was the birthday gift I had never given my father. A photo album documenting our journey from the early days of a tiny computer repair shop to the $100 million enterprise it had become. I ran my fingers over the album's cover, then gently closed it. Maybe one day, when enough time has passed to heal the wounds, I will give it to him. But not now. For now, I just want to keep moving forward. This story isn't just about betrayal, it's a lesson in self-worth. In life, the people you trust the most are sometimes the first to turn their backs on you when you succeed. But the key isn't revenge. It's proving that you can stand strong, even thrive without them. True success doesn't come from seeking validation from others. It comes from knowing who you are and what you deserve. In the end, the best revenge is not seeking revenge at all, just succeeding and moving on. What do you think about this story? Do you relate to the main character? What would you do in this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to follow the channel for more inspiring stories about life, family, and valuable lessons.